Welcome to Tawk. I'm Carter.
I'm Sean.
And I'm Jess.
And we're getting into this.
Dun 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 dun.
There we go. Okay, so we have a couple of topics we're going to talk about today. We have an article in the Oklahoman, another one by Dale Denwalt, great writer, talking about cannabis sales through June nearly eclipsing all of 2019, which is crazy.
Wow.
We have another article talking about how some of the struggling U.S. cannabis companies are going to look to Canada for possible bankruptcy protection. That'll be interesting.
Makes sense. They can't get any federal money here.
Well, good luck, though.
We're also going to just take a quick look at the Oklahoma reciprocity rules and kind of some experiences on that. And we might even get into a little bit of an update on Love After Lockup for this week. Who knows? But
Is that like, wait, is Love After Lockup like after I get out of jail? Who is my lover?
It is.
Yeah, we will introduce you to the whole system.
It is women or men, like being prison pen pals with someone, falling in letter love, and then what happens when they meet in real life on the outside.
Yeah, like how awesome.
This guy's been in a cage for 13 years, probably for good reason. Gets out and she's like, I'm going to domesticate him. It's like, he's institutionalized. You're going to have to get him in therapy before he's a normal human being.
Yeah, and
Years of professional help.
But the people that are reaching out to these prisoners are also not always in the best
not
headspace.
the most stable people themselves.
Yeah.
You mean they're not doctors and lawyers?
No, they're not picking up any dates on the outside, and they're having to resort to anyone in prison, which is not.
I'm sure
It's like,
lawyers have
yo,
fallen in love, like with convicts in the courthouse, and
while they're meeting and consulting and stuff.
But I think that's
yeah. I mean, Carter, have you?
highly unprofessional, right?
Yeah, I don't think I haven't looked through the ethics book to see if that's okay, but
Pretty sure you're not allowed to fuck clients.
I'm pretty sure we'll have to look that up next episode. I don't know if there's a specific. I know there's a specific rule that'll address that, but there's nothing specifically on having sex with prison inmates.
Nothing in
it's
the
a law. You can't do that.
You can't do that?
No, yeah, definitely.
No.
100%.
What about
Really?
conjugal visits if you're married?
That is like a state-sanctioned fuck.
I was just like state by state.
Yeah.
Okay.
No. And I think Oklahoma doesn't offer.
We don't do it?
conjugals. Yeah.
I haven't been in.
Or actually, that would be prison,
And I don't have any spouses
which
in
is
there.
like,
You haven't showed up to fuck at jail yet?
None of my spouses are in prison either.
yeah.
None of them.
No,
Well, not yet.
either.
I need to put mine in prison so I can get on this show.
Right? Get some ratings.
Or is that not how it works?
I mean, I feel like the way that they pitch it, they tell people to, at the end of the episode, they tell people, if you know anyone who's in a relationship with someone in prison, or if you're in prison and you're in a relationship with someone outside of prison, please reach out to the show. So I feel like
She's
you
like
almost
Jerry
need
Springer.
to.
Damn.
Yeah, exactly.
Oklahoma
You need to be.
does not have conjugal visits. California is one of a handful of states that still allow it.
Which is why.
Yeah, if you don't
when-
pay the 75%
Prison's
tax they're
gotten
imposing
worse,
currently.
You know, like it's crazy.
I
Yeah,
know.
it would suck to go to prison now. It used to be awesome.
They used
That's-
to have extended family visits. It's what they call them.
For your spouse and
Yeah,
family,
that's the
close family.
euphemism for conjugal.
Do you take your mother in the same camper that you
I
take your
really
spouse
hope not.
for extended family
Just
visits? Okay, well, we'll get into that a
Everybody's
little bit
included.
more. That's
Trailer.
kind of just to give you a gist, Jess, of what we'll be getting into. We'll break it down a little bit more, but that's the finale. We don't want to get into the finale before we kick off the
I'm gonna
start.
say it felt like we just got into it, so drop
We're
it.
in it. We're in it.
New
We'll get
topic.
back
That
in
was
it.
just a preview.
Don't worry. But on
That's
this-
just a quick preview.
Yeah. Just a little sampler. So this first one that we're going to get into, let me throw it up here for us, is...
Oh. I've got a lot of experience with this one.
Okay. So,
Yeah, I think I may have helped bump those numbers up.
yeah. I feel like this is an exciting trend. I mean, we kind of knew that this might happen with everybody being locked inside, but it's awesome, and it shows the power of the industry, and it kind of shows you why every state that has this industry decided that it was an essential service during the pandemic.
Yeah, and the number of licenses has gone up pretty dramatically since 2019. I think 8% of the state as a whole is licensed.
Yeah, and we
Which
talked,
is
we
pretty
covered
crazy.
some of those last time,
Yeah.
I think.
That's a great
So,
number.
more people are licensed. Everybody's stuck at home.
Everyone's smoking.
Weed sales are going up for the same reason Netflix views are through the roof.
They're
Yeah.
correlated positively.
Oh, most certainly. I mean, I would have never watched Love After Lockup had I not been locked to my goddamn couch for 2.5 months.
That wasn't
Much less started a podcast.
I
Yeah.
watched everything else, and now I'm finally taking Carter's advice and checking it out. And he was right. I should have not been so reticent to check it out.
I feel like it keeps the depression levels a little higher, like just from you being like, it's not so bad. You know, I don't have it so bad.
It's a nice.
At least I'm not in love with a prisoner,
your
yeah.
Life with theirs, it's like, well, at least I'm not in love with a woman that could stab me in my sleep.
Yeah, or if you're the person in prison, at least my only out in the world is this psychopath that's been mailing me letters while I've been in prison.
Yeah, doing Tinder by mail.
Like some of these, I mean, it's madness. I think
It's like we're going right back
I
to
was
that.
just to
Sorry,
say,
I'm
every time I
fixated
try to
on
get
it
out,
now.
they pull me
So
back in. I
fixated
can't
on
help
it.
it. It's like the mafia.
I
Jesus.
fell asleep to it last night and am just, a little. I think I was mulling it over in my subconscious.
Sweet lockup lullabies nightly.
Well, okay, about the weed sales, and this is June, right?
This is June.
The month of June. Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, so even in August, this is going to continue. By the way, and I bet July sales were through the roof too.
Yeah.
I mean, we pulled in 30 pounds on a Saturday last week, and it was sold in like an hour.
Yeah, I've heard that it's. I mean, if you've got it, people are still gobbling it up.
Yeah, we're starting to
Down
out.
a little bit, which is good.
Well, yeah.
Unless you're a farmer.
Well, quality's starting to go down a little bit too right now because a lot of the outdoor stuff is being here's our outdoor crop, and it's like, yeah, that looks like it came from outside.
But
For sure.
I will buy a $60 ounce of some seedy outdoor and
Yeah.
find some way to repurpose it into something.
Repurpose it.
Yeah, they just need to.
It's like turning an old pallet into a coffee table or something. I will turn this horrible ounce into some great brownies or something.
Yeah, something like that, edible or concentrated, something fun,
Tincture.
something for the family.
We're finding a lot of people are wanting to sell their super low, like they'll have some 14% THC stuff. Remember I had that at your house the other day, Carter.
Mhm.
And I'm starting to think that THC doesn't even matter, like almost at all.
Not for
Like,
some of
because
the
I'm if you've got
consumers. I
a
think that like people like me who have the problem of needing just the highest stuff that you can find
The
is
dangus
not
of the dangus.
most of the market.
No,
It's
no.
You know
well,
what I mean?
here's what I'm thinking: 14% THC versus 28% THC. If they both have 4% terpene content, will get you equally as blasted off. So I'm starting to
Yeah.
really, really think that the only thing getting me high is like a little bit of THC plus super terpene alert.
I pay way less attention to the numbers, and I'm back to just using my senses.
Yeah.
And,
Just nose only.
I mean, I try to be discerning in terms of like, all right, I want to know where it's coming from, how they.
If they disclose that, some of the places
Yeah.
are like, "Hey, it's we can't be talking about where this thing you're consuming
Yeah.
it comes from."
Yeah, well, that goes.
You
back
fucking
to what
cop?
Jess was
What is
saying.
it?
Someone's,
Yeah,
someone's
right.
buying up 30 pounds at a time. You know, like it. You want to, if you've got a good connection, you don't want to give it to everybody else. Same with the way it was, prior to legalization.
Yeah.
It's
The
it's
guy
true.
That knew how to get
You're right.
30 pounds out of Oregon or California wasn't going to exactly give you his guy's phone number.
That's true, but
Right.
you got to also think about it on the consumer side. Like, I get that that's the business of it, and because everyone came up in that business that's kind of dominating this business, if they're from Oklahoma or from the state that it was legalized in, I feel like their tendency is to cycle back to that.
Well, I think a lot of those guys never got into the.
They're not focused on consumer needs, is what I'm trying to say.
They're
They're
still
focused
in the
on
gray market and black market right now.
Well,
those
we
guys.
we covered that last week when we
Yeah.
talked about how much of the black market
Yeah.
is how much of the marijuana produced goes into the black market
I
as
think it was
opposed.
84%.
It's like 80 to 20.
Yeah, that's
You
pretty
know.
crazy.
Yeah.
That's a crazy number.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's California. You know, the biggest producer. Some of the smaller states it'll be smaller in, but California
Oh, God.
legit only 20% of the marijuana produced in California is produced by licensed growers.
You heard of the
Well,
new
that's
tax
because
they're imposing
when
on,
we went
on
over
California?
This, it's just like,
Yeah,
the
explains why
licensing
all the
fees,
rich people are running away
the
from
hoops you
California.
have to jump through.
But they loop them in. You're looped in. You gotta move out. They're gonna get you for a while, even when you're in Texas. Or
Oh, dude.
wherever you're running away
It's
from.
10 years prior and 10 years
Austin,
after.
Texas is rough, man.
Yeah, I don't know why everyone thinks Austin's some sort of like conservative oasis.
I think
My
it's more
understanding is
about the
Austin's
tax.
kind of like a little California.
Dude, it's just like a place to go get stuck in traffic and be bothered by people that moved there because they thought it was cool.
And possibly
You missed
be
out
flooded.
on
My
it, bro.
sisters,
That was
yeah.
like 15 years ago.
Yeah, Austin was cool in 2008.
West
2008,
Texas is where it's at,
not
man.
2008.
The small little towns near Marfa.
Oh, dude,
Alpine,
Midland.
Texas is super
Yeah.
cool. I'd move out that way. I'd grow weed out that way if you could find
McKinney.
If you could get water rights, secure water, and you'd be fine. You could build a awesome giant greenhouse and grow weed most of the year.
Yeah, I mean that's where they have down in kind of between Austin and San Antonio, really closer to Austin, even in the hills, is that sweet wine growing territory.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't think it's the same climate that you need for weed, but weed's
You
more
have to truck in your own soil and
because it's more of like a rocky type
it's
of
sandy,
yeah.
like high desert kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Which isn't bad for vines. I guess.
But I don't know. People are going down there. It's a big flood plain. Like it floods all the time. There's huge flood crises all the time down there. If you're on the wrong side of the river.
Yeah, and on the other end there are water shortages.
Yeah.
So I mean, like securing water is going to be your biggest issue if you want to grow in Texas. Also,
That's why T. Boone
not getting
Pickens is down
shot
there.
by a small Texas sheriff right now because it is illegal as hell to have weed in Texas.
Right. I remember watching.
But not
on
hemp,
TV.
right?
That was the one state, when they got pulled
I don't
over and they
like-
were.
I do not want to get pulled over in Texas ever. Just on the off chance.
I haven't been to Texas since legalization here. I have
we
not
travel
gone.
through Kansas when we go to Colorado just because we don't want to touch Texas.
Someone should start
Yeah,
a
it's
company
dangerous.
that will run a dog around your car before you have to go
At the
into
border.
state. So you can, like,
Yeah.
if you dropped a joint and rolled under your seat, and then you end up in prison in Texas, like Harris County jail.
That's my fear.
Yeah. So
Exactly. What is in my
I'm gonna-
car?
Yeah,
I don't
I'm
know.
going to look into that. It can't be that hard to find a retired drug dog.
Just to
No,
have
dude.
on
I'm sure
you.
there's like a Craigslist for those,
Just go
just
get
selling them
an
off,
old handler that's retired, and you're like, hey, you want to make some extra scratch? Let's open a store.
or just pay them in weed.
People just drive their car through. You run the dog through their car, and maybe
Money.
I could negotiate keeping anything I find.
Right? Just as a
That's what I'm talking about,
part
yeah.
of the process. Be like, well,
Find
anything
it.
we find, we keep, and
We're
it's
way
your-
better than
your peace
police.
of mind. That's kind of what we're giving you.
$20, and we'll let you pet the dog.
So one of the other things they pointed out on here that I thought you'd be interested in, Jess, is this Colorado company that's partnering in Oklahoma in 1906 that's going to unveil their line of edibles manufactured in pill form.
Ooh. Here's
I
the
know
thing
you
about
like your
all
capsules
edibles.
and
Is that just going to be
tablets.
tincture in a capsule, or is
I don't know.
that going to be
Or
like
would it be
a
a-
tablet of?
Pill pressed tablet.
Yeah,
It said pill form, not capsule. So I'm assuming it is like a compressed tablet, kind of like what you were talking about.
Well, ask them if they need someone who is skilled in the art.
I mean, they're talking to a bunch of different companies. They're moving in. A bunch of the companies are moving into Oklahoma because of how friendly we are, relatively friendly, compared to some of the other states like
What do you mean?
California.
Yeah,
All of
I got
the-
discriminated
Colorado.
against
have
over
the
this.
most lax laws.
But as
right?
far as taxing, even that one, we're a little bit more chill on
We're
than some of the other
7%,
states.
I think
Yeah,
it's not.
but that's one of the reasons they're excited about us.
And, you know, like this is farmland. You
Gotta
to
take
listen
this
to
hanger,
Oklahoma,
guys.
And like all these guys know how to farm already.
Yeah.
Right now, they're not making a lot of money farming alfalfa.
Exactly. Or soy, or anything else.
Yeah, it's pretty tough to make it as a farmer these days. You've got to market yourself. You know, like the Orr family farms. You know, you got to make your farm like a tourist destination, or
Yeah.
find some way to market yourself like locally, where it's kind of like hip to buy your vegetables.
That's what you have to do, I feel like, with anything these days, because everyone wants to know their brand and their
Well,
products.
because
so well.
everyone thinks they're a discerning consumer.
Exactly. Even though they don't know what they're asking, they're still
Or
asking
even
a lot
talking
of
about it in most
questions.
cases, yeah.
But I think that's good. Maybe they'll learn
It's a
what
start.
questions they need to.
That's what it
Exactly.
is. It's a start.
It's all a process. Was there anything else on here that you were wanting to talk about at all? I know there were some other companies that were moving in, but it's kind of more of the same. I mean, they're just excited about the regulatory structure.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're going to see more and more of this. Like, you'll see, next week we'll have an article where it's like, someone's coming in and making a cannabis inhaler.
That's true. I mean, slushies, inhalers. I think that's all we wanted to talk about on that one. The next thing we have here is on the Marijuana Business Daily. It's an older story, but it was very interesting. This came out at the beginning of this year.
Well, I mean, this is from February 5th. So I think something towards the tail end of that month, pretty significant, happened to all businesses nationwide. So
What happened?
Any
What was
starting
it?
business
Valentine's Day?
prior to COVID-19
Yeah, it was.
is
What's that?
probably struggling
COVID.
more right now.
now.
Especially considering
COVID-19, is that like in a video game that
companies-
launched?
marijuana companies
Yeah, it's like
that
MBK.
were struggling
NBA
prior to
2K.
this can receive federal aid.
Hmm.
You can't get a PPP loan for your weed company.
Makes sense.
Sort
Makes
of.
sense. I mean,
Sort of makes
it
sense.
makes sense that they're struggling because they can't get loans.
Yeah, I mean it.
Right.
But they also were necessary. You know, what did we call that? Essential businesses.
Essential businesses,
Yeah.
you know?
Oh my god, I watched the processing company I was once a part of bring in $80,000 profit in about 3 days when they first, I think it was a Wednesday when they said pandemic is announced, and then by Friday they announced that cannabis is essential for the pandemic. And when they did that announcement over that weekend, 80 grand I watched come into that I guess criminal organization now.
Oh yeah. Allegedly.
Alleged criminal organization, but what
We're
would be the
mentioning
opposite of
names,
allegedly,
I think
Carter?
we're quick
Actual,
Yeah, actually.
yeah, actually
I mean,
would be
convict-
not
convicted.
allegedly.
Yet to be proven in a court of law, but I don't think
Right.
they're going to have a ton of trouble proving it.
Yeah, usually go allegedly and convicted, I think, is the transition.
Yeah.
So you probably
Okay,
say
yeah. So the
allegedly
other side of
until they're
allegedly is
actually
convicted.
Yeah.
type of deal.
And I
Okay.
think some
And that'd be
people
on
even,
criminal.
if you're giving them the benefit of the doubt, even allegedly through some of the appeals process.
Right? Because it's a never-ending process. I mean, until you've gone to the Supreme Court and they say, you need to leave us alone, you
Yeah.
know, there's always a chance. So this is interesting. We talked about the Canadian companies and Canada in general being a big safe haven for marijuana. It seems like now they're trying to also be a safe haven for companies in America that don't have any of the insolvency protections here.
Yeah.
That is a
Because you can't go
stupid safe
through
haven.
federal bankruptcy or anything like that.
And I think that's an interesting lifeline, but it's one that I would be weary to accept. Just initially, I'd have to do a lot more digging, because honestly, this could be, you know, letting the fox into the proverbial henhouse here. These are big cannabis companies that are
Failing.
not at the end of the day, they're not doing this in solidarity with these struggling cannabis companies. They're looking for a larger market share.
Oh, okay.
And so I think that if we relinquish, if we end up going by normal rules of business, end up with a big three of cannabis, this is how it's going to start. These are the seeds.
I mean, they're starting to take over bankruptcy. I know they're investing in the companies, trying to get a foot in and trying to establish residency, I'm sure, in Oklahoma and other states in the U.S.
I imagine they're helping them with banking as well, like what to do with their cash.
As much as they can, yeah. I mean, that's kind of probably how they got into this side of it.
Sorry, I didn't mean to sound like a stoned guy in a college dorm room there for a second. Got a little conspiratorial, but
We need that. We need that.
something to watch out for.
We got to set them up to be able to.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the only thing I think is, like, okay, cool, you're a marijuana company, you're failing, now you go to Canada. As Canada, they're like, yeah, bring all your failed bankruptcies here.
No, it's more like because jurisdiction of the bankruptcy court is determined by the creditor's location, they're making an argument that if they're the creditor, then the bankruptcy should take place in British Columbia or Canada or whatever. And
Where one of their monstrous cannabis companies can acquire
They
it.
call them bears.
more
I
like
see.
Because you can't get.
Really? They still do that in
bankruptcy
Canada?
in America.
Do it in Australia, Canada, most of the British, ex-British colonies, except for us, still do the wig lawyering.
Yeah, barristers.
Which,
the whole
correct me
deal.
if I'm wrong, the wig is from syphilis, right?
And I think it was from lice and the fact that they were all lice-ridden and they had to shave their heads and they started wearing wigs, but the wigs had it was a bad solution to a stupid problem.
People were just dirty.
Yeah, they were dirty.
I thought it was I thought it was syphilis and their skin was
the
rotten.
Americas for a very
Syphilis
long
is the
time.
one that rots your brain from going to the whorehouse. Like
and the rest of your body.
Al Capone is the one I always think of as
And your scalp too.
the model for. I'm sure
You
it
can lose
doesn't
your
treat your
nose.
body very well in general, just because it's gonna destroy all the tissue in your body.
Well, I mean, it's highly documented what happens to untreated syphilis. The American government did it to people of African American descent in Tuskegee.
Yep.
No,
Yep.
never.
4 years.
I won't look up any
Into,
pictures.
like,
I was
the
about to look up
80s,
pictures,
I
but we're
think.
okay.
I could be
I'm pretty sure syphilis makes the skin on your head rot off.
Yeah, it does cause necrosis.
Yeah, it kills tissue, which is
pretty
why
disgusting.
it when it touches your brain, you're done because it just starts eating your brain.
Basically, anyone that was fun before 1930 had syphilis.
Yeah, like Capone.
Yeah.
He was a ball.
thinking
So all the chords.
He was the
specifically.
belle of every ball.
Benjamin Franklin was one of the coolest Americans to ever live, and he was riddled with syphilis.
And you may be thinking of him because he probably rocked a wig.
Oh, I'm sure he rocked a wig.
Maybe that's the crossover Jess is catching here.
He was a bit of a
The,
dandy.
the wig
Yeah,
syphilis crossover was
pretty. Yeah, I think the Venn diagram would overlap quite a
Ben.
bit. Yeah.
Big Ben. So, I mean, that was kind of the
America's
main.
#1 syphilis podcast here.
Yeah, we're updating you on all the important issues and trying to keep you
Weird
informed.
spot talk.
I almost pulled open the
Spot talk about your scalp.
Your syphilis spots.
I shied away from pulling up pictures, which was my first instinct, which I think is probably
please
a
do
good
not. I do
decision.
not wanna see a
We can check the
syphilitic-
scalp theory of Jess's and see if we can get any scalp pictures.
I don't think you're going to be able to search picture and syphilis in the same
and not get.
inquiry and not get a picture of a dick.
Yeah, it won't be medical. I have a feeling it's not going to
yeah, I
be
don't wanna
super
see that
medical. Okay, we'll steer away from
so
it.
they used to make you get a syphilis test here in Oklahoma before you got married.
Before you got married?
Yeah. Like,
What?
until
So that you didn't give your wife some more syphilis?
so we
Then
didn't
you already
spread
gave her?
syphilis around.
Spread it
I
around?
don't know.
Wait, what was
For
that?
getting married?
Yeah, you don't
Before you got
want to.
married in Oklahoma, you had to get a syphilis test. I'm not sure when they stopped doing that, but
They should do that with COVID.
oh yeah.
Just up at the
I'm pretty
courthouse.
sure they
Like,
do. They've,
Can't wait to see all of the weird protest weddings that happen because of this. Like, come on, Betty Sue, get in my racist as shit truck and let's go
Yeah,
up
go to
the
the
county
church and get
courthouse.
married then. Quit coming to the courthouse to get married if you're really that mad about Jesus.
it sounds like you gotta go to the hospital to
Church is
get
not
married.
going to test your temperature.
Yeah.
Unless-
I'm gonna throw on my best All Lives Matter shirt and we're going up to the courthouse.
Yeah. The only time the church cares about any of that stuff is if you're so hot you've literally burst into flames and they think you might be possessed. You know, they're
Right.
not usually concerned about temperature.
When I was working in Hobbs, New Mexico for a few months, it was prior to federal legalization of gay marriage. And New Mexico allowed gay marriage. And the county clerk there was, really cool. And it's the closest county from like Texas and Oklahoma where you could go get married. So I watched, and Hobbs is a shithole, by the way. And I watched all of these happy couples get married in this just shithole on the lawn of this courthouse. Dozens of them. It was bittersweet. It's like, man, they deserve the wedding of their dreams, but
Not here.
they are getting a wedding next to oil dairy. It's like Mad Max. Like,
Yeah, you can feel the hate
not
emanating from the
beautiful.
courthouse
Yeah.
towards them. They're like, yeah, we said it was okay, but you don't got to do it here.
yeah,
Come
I
on.
think everyone's pretty cool, man.
Okay, they're cool. They're chill.
Yeah.
Okay, well then.
And if you're not cool,
All's well.
you're not going to ruin a wedding. Like,
I mean, did y'all see the clip of that lady who came in on Anthony's wedding? Started, Anthony,
this is your baby. You
this
know
is
it's
your baby.
Yeah.
And she kind of ruined that wedding.
We had an outdoor wedding in Oklahoma. If anything like that happens, I think there would have been gunfire.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the new age shotgun wedding.
Yeah.
When the crazy lady
shoot
rolls in with a
dissenters.
shotgun. Well, I don't know if there's anything other than just the jurisdictional issues that they kind of go through here on this one. I think it's interesting. I think that you guys are right. They're really kind of pulling things as much as possible into Canada.
I mean, it'd be nice to save you from any potential psychotic creditors you've got here, stateside.
I mean, I think they would probably notify them if they're. You think they would, like, if you had a creditor in the U.S. and a creditor.
I imagine a lot of these are joint Canadian-U.S. ventures.
It'd be interesting
they're
if they
probably
could-
incorporated here in some respect. If they're giving people money.
But I would think a good bankruptcy process, you would notify all your creditors, just like in any bankruptcy.
Yeah.
It would be interesting if they were like, nah, fuck the American creditors. We're only sending letters out within
Canadian
Canada.
ones.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I don't know.
That'd be pretty sketchy. That'd be a real
That's
workaround.
really bad business.
Yeah. That's why I think that they're probably notifying
wouldn't
them.
be able to work in cannabis. I mean, when you do stuff like that, you're screwing over like other small companies.
Yeah.
Our president likes to do business that way. It's pretty sleazy.
It's interesting, for sure.
no politics.
We got into.
We steer from politics over towards stock talk.
Oh,
I think everything is political.
Oh, especially this.
Yeah,
We're trying to get
I mean,
it
we're talking
legalized at a
about
federal level, and
the
it looks
legislature.
like no one that's going to be the head of the executive branch come November is too excited about federal legalization.
But see, I'm totally fine with that. I don't want federal legalization. What
Yeah, I
does
don't
the
know what
government
it'll
do
look
when they
like.
get into things? They fuck it up.
Yeah,
That's
I
what the
don't know
that's the
federal
government's
legalization would
key.
look like.
Whatever it would be, it would fuck up the current goodness we have. Guaranteed. The
feel
government
like
needs
it
to
would look like
piss
that.
off. The government needs to
Well-
go away and leave us the fuck alone. That was what America was started on. Leave us alone. We're going to this
We need
island.
Banking, though.
We do need banking.
Yeah,
We need a government
keep our
that's
banks and our
making proper
infrastructures.
decisions.
Fuck off.
I'd like to
On
be able to get business insurance
yeah,
in
that's
case you
nice.
lose a crop. Like, you can't get crop insurance.
But even there, you don't need government for any of that stuff. Private insurance, private everything. The private sector is very smart, and the government thinks
And
we're
as
all
long
idiots.
as those private entities are taking care of everyone and not being selfish, which they never are, I think it'd be a good plan.
No.
Yeah, if they were,
You know what I mean? You need government
altruistically-
basically to tell the rich people to quit being so fucking selfish.
Yeah, get
That's
your
what
boot
they
off
were
that guy's
invented
neck
for.
real quick,
And I think that one of the things that,
or you end up with robber barons.
I mean, it's kind of what we're dealing with right now. When we're talking about the monopolies, that's exactly what we're talking
Well,
about.
it's the second Gilded Age, man.
And Canada's trying to set up an industry for monopolies right now. And America's not doing that. They're dragging their feet. And the states are going to be in a great position within their states. But if we were to ever legalize federally, I mean, the Fed would need to assist the states in the transition because of how poorly they've already positioned the states to compete with anyone in the world.
Yeah, I think
That's
medical is
kinda-
always going to be a thing.
Do what?
I think medical is always going to be a thing. It'd just be like Colorado, where it's like it's a little cheaper if you're a medical patient. Sometimes, you know, like the quality's a little better.
Hopefully they would. I think that, like, if you were going to do testing, like federal testing and stuff, that
Yeah, that'd
that would be
amazing.
the
Just
field that
research
you
we'd
should
unlock
focus in, would
by
be in
not
the
having
medical
it as a
field.
Schedule 1 drug.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the kind of when I say legalization, I'm like, I'm looking more for federal decriminalization.
Yes.
Well, I just want federal banking is all we really need, and then they
That's
just
what
need
we
to
We
just
have to
disappear.
be able to bank,
Yeah.
we have to get it off of the. It has to be decriminalized.
Yeah, it needs to be taken off.
Well, they need to reschedule it.
Right now, it's like trying to get rid of your pot cash is like trying to get rid of Coke money.
Well,
Oh,
it's even
unless you know a little store I know called Brown's Coin down on Southwest 26. You can head down there and trade out your cash for gold, no receipt,
Yeah,
cash for
don't-
gold.
Cash for gold. I mean, that's not a terrible idea.
or silver.
He wasn't. Sean was afraid you were going to say Coke for gold.
I
And
was scared you
he's
were
like,
about
"Don't tell
to
the address. Don't tell the
people
address."
how to launder their money.
No, this is totally legal
Just
tender.
north of 23rd.
Totally
His name
legal
is
tender.
Jim Smith.
Yeah.
You can
Or
swap
buy
out your fiat
guns.
currency for actual
Guns
money.
are an incredible investment. If we're gonna go that route, like get a safe, buy some gold, buy some guns. You can always sell a gun.
Right, and you can always steal more gold with your
And
guns.
and gold.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's always going to be somebody looking. To buy
They go hand in hand.
So
And guns.
One good thing that our state government did was issue a very open out-of-state marijuana license rule where pretty much anyone coming into Oklahoma can obtain a temporary license.
As long as they have
That's
an
what that-
unexpired medical card in their state.
Yes. So we basically provide reciprocity with any other
Anyone.
state that has a medical card.
That's fantastic.
And
That's where those
awesome.
big tax numbers came from.
Dude, also would help
Such a
in
tourist
terms of
state.
tourism.
Yeah.
Because I would prefer to go somewhere where I'm not going to get hassled for smoking pot, and I don't want to go on vacation and not smoke pot. I'm on vacation, for Christ's sake.
And nowadays you don't want to go vacation at crowded places either. You want to
Yeah.
go somewhere spread out and
I've
wide
done
open
the
like
weed hunt in
Oklahoma.
the third world where you can get executed for it, and I mean the anxiety that comes with that is just like I don't know, it's not even worth it.
Yeah.
So you just don't go get high. You don't even.
No, I'm still fine.
No, I mean, what are you crazy?
It was just like I had to do some like really sketchy, like almost locked up abroad stuff to get it.
I'm just
Right, so
reminiscing
it-
about the bad decision that it was.
Yeah, terrible choices.
Yeah.
In like a taxi with a guy I don't know going into the slums.
Everyone's taking that trip. I don't know if you're in Mexico or if you were in
Thailand.
Asia or wherever you were, but everyone's taking that walk with the guy who doesn't speak your native language,
Yeah.
who goes, "No, we got to go in here."
We gotta go here.
And you walk in this building and you walk up like a shadowy staircase to some little weird loft where they live/run this business.
Yeah, where it's got a real Sicario vibe.
Yeah, but none of them are employed as assassins, right? You're like, nah, y'all couldn't run if you tried.
Yeah.
You know, you're out here slanging at the market. Is where
It's
you
like
guys are.
dusty trinkets and souvenirs.
And little hard bricks of weed
Yeah,
wrapped in aluminum foil and
I've been to
stuff.
Cozumel.
Shitty
Everyone's
weed.
been
Yeah.
down there. Everyone knows that coast, that Gulf Coast area. It's a vibe.
Yeah, it's
Uh, that was, I
we
mean,
were supporting terrorism buying that weed, by the way.
I don't know if anybody else has traveled.
Yeah,
to
those
the
guys on the
States.
beach.
Oh,
They
yeah.
are cutting people's heads off in Laredo.
Those are the cartel members that selling you necklaces.
Exactly.
Right? had a
They also have
Picture
cocaine.
of a parrot.
Yeah, that guy will kill
Hey,
you.
want to hold an iguana on your shoulder? He's got a cowboy hat. Need some cocaine? It's like,
Don't
I
take
want
pictures
none
with
of
your
those
phone.
things. Take your hatted lizard away, good sir.
It's like, what'd you say? Oh, nothing, man.
Nothing.
You like the lizard, right? All right, I'm gonna
Nothing.
get out of here.
Where do you find a lizard haberdashery?
Right this way, up the staircase.
don't
My
think
guy,
they're
you know my
technically
guy that
lizards.
you got the aluminum foil from? He's got lizards with hats too.
Are iguanas lizards?
Yeah,
For
an
sure.
iguana, right?
I mean,
We
they're
can,
small
we can
dragons.
consult the evolution and classification of life chart to determine where they branched off if we need to.
Oh Jesus, I could do that. Hold on.
But Sean's gonna reference that real quick. Should be over on the animal branch. Reptiles, right there in the green, light green, right where you are.
Now, a large iguana is known as a Komodo dragon.
Yeah,
And
the
an
real
even
big
larger
ones.
Komodo dragon is known as just a dragon, if
Godzilla.
it can fly.
It's Godzilla. After the Komodo dragons affected by nuclear energy in the Pacific.
They're all in the
Yes.
same order.
Yeah, which is reptile, right?
Well, no, that's the kingdom, right?
Okay. So which one were they in?
Or no, kingdom, phylum, genus.
Kingdom, phylum, order, class, family, genus,
Kings play
species.
cards on flat green stools.
I don't remember the acronym. But yeah, they're lizards. Did you find out which one it was? Like what was the big name?
Yeah, well. Oh man,
Squamata. That's
Squamata.
on Squamata.
M.
Squamata. It was on the tip of my tongue.
Yeah, not mine.
So that's what lizards and iguanas are.
Carter's eyes blink horizontally.
Yeah.
I knew you knew too much about lizards.
So so first of all, does anyone have any time since you've had your medical marijuana card? Have you traveled anywhere where you tried to get reciprocity with it? I have. Anyone else?
I have a California card.
Okay, so
I
you
wasn't
don't
technically
have
using
to.
my Oklahoma one there.
So what's the process out there when you try to go? I mean, it's recreational. but-
Well, I had an unexpired California driver's license.
Okay.
And so I did like a telecall one time when I was out there with my wife and got a card. And I'm assuming they mailed it to my old address. Like I never got the physical copy, but I have like the card number and everything. And they'll let you into a dispensary if you print off all of your information. You don't have to have your physical card.
Oh.
I did that too, dude. Yeah, except
California?
I just had to have an email that I could send to him. Yeah, in
I had
California,
no
it's
idea.
email for delivery,
I did
and they
that.
brought it to the hotel.
But California reports like their cards to the
yeah,
ATF.
you told me
And
that.
So like you get flagged when you go to try to buy a gun at a gun store.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well,
So
Just buy your
FYI.
guns on the black market.
I mean, yeah, I go to Arms List. It's like the Craigslist of guns, buying guns person to person. I would meet in a very safe, well-lit place.
that's what I
so
say.
you
I
don't
bet that
get-
iguana guy's got the hookup. You know, if I was gonna go somewhere, I'd call iguana guy.
Those
Be
guns
like,
probably
"You got
have
straps
several
too, man?"
bodies on them.
Yeah, hook me up.
It's actually guns come from here down to there.
Yeah.
Is the flow of guns.
Yep.
Yeah, they go to GW's exotic tiger park.
They talk about that in Jackie Brown, I think. Or Del Roby was a gun stealer.
Yeah, and plenty of like court documents.
And they talk through it. They go, I'd say you're in drugs, but the money's going the wrong way. You know, the money's coming up rather than going down. And that's how the gun trade always works, right? That's how we
sell
help them
guns.
with their government transitions and stuff like that.
Yeah, the U.S. is
All
the
that stuff.
largest supplier of arms in the world.
Yeah, that's our
war dogs.
That's our cash
Dang.
crop, right?
Yeah,
That's what we grow.
that's kind of our thing.
Yeah,
That movie War Dogs
We didn't
rules.
stop after Iran-Contra.
it is a good movie, classic movie, War Dogs. Shout out. So I have one when I went to DC
Oh yeah.
that was kind of a bummer. So I didn't realize that DC, because whenever it was, I pulled it up online and it said that they accepted reciprocity with a bunch of other states that had medical. And I thought Oklahoma was on there. So I go to a dispensary there and I walk in and they buzz me through and I go up and I'm filling out the information and they take my sheet back and I'm sitting in the waiting room and they go, "Oh, you're from Oklahoma." Yeah, Oklahoma. We don't have reciprocity with Oklahoma because their process for determining who
Like their
qualifies,
standard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Little loose.
they don't have any.
I told my
Conditions
doctor I'm
set up.
allergic to going to jail.
Yeah,
That's how I got my medical.
right.
Yeah,
Every
you get
time
very
the cops
sick.
pull up, I start sweating.
Yeah.
My face turns red. My mouth is parched. I can't breathe.
It definitely is my blood pressure goes up. It is a noticeable medical reaction to dealing with the police. I need this card to save me from that.
And it's anecdotal evidence so far, but every time they're around.
I've heard worse medical shit.
You know,
It's 100% consistency.
people have better reactions to peanuts. I'm just saying we need to do something about this.
Yeah.
And I was, they said no, can't have any. I go, oh, so I leave, and I found another place that was a dispensary that was right next door. So before I Ubered back to the hotel, I walked over there, and it was an apartment building, and I was like, and it wasn't one that you could just, walk in. It's an apartment building.
Yeah.
So it's locked.
Yeah.
And I called the number, and the guy's like, I'm over at the bike shop right now, but that's like our address, like where we work out of, but we're all over at the bike shop, and we kind of do everything from the bike shop.
Yeah, like.
So I need you to send me your address and your order,
And I'll bike it
and we
over.
can bring it to you.
Yeah.
And I was
That's
like,
how it works
okay.
in New York.
I was expecting, they show up and I'd have to have my card, and I might deal with the same shit when they got there, where they're like, "Oh, you're Oklahoma. We don't have reciprocity with
No,
Oklahoma."
it doesn't sound like that was a licensed dispensary you
What?
went to, Carter.
What?
Yeah.
It was online.
Well, I mean, I found weed in Thailand from
Online?
online.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Well,
was
then
like
it was-
a guy's
it's on
post
the
on
up and up.
Reddit. He was like, "Go down to where this guy's renting jet skis. Tell him you want weed." Basically,
And then
God.
you take that extra step to filter out the bad guys by saying, wait. Do you have a website?
yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, then. I'll go with you.
Okay, cool. Just as long as I can check online.
extremely online over there with it.
As long as there's a computer in this
But
dark
DC
corridor.
has like, their police are pretty busy with real crimes.
I don't know. We walked at night. Here's another safe decision that was definitely sponsored by me, the man in the relationship. We were walking at night at DC.
Yeah,
Carter sponsored decision making.
Yeah, right? We were talking about how women don't make decisions like that. They're like, oh, dark alley? No.
Yeah.
Guy's like, oh, it's a shortcut. Come on, let's go.
Yeah,
Come
there are
on,
a lot
yeah.
of
I can see the
money
light at the end of the alley.
and,
Yeah.
and things of that nature. What was the staffer that got killed? And I was there one summer with meeting Robert C. Byrd, which, long story.
Yeah.
And that same summer, it was the DC sniper summer, and
Oh, wow.
the
Yeah, but the
Wait, hang on. Wait, go back to that, Sean. The DC sniper was the guy that was just shooting straight up
he
off of
and
like
his like young adopted son or
Son,
teenage
off of,
adopted
like,
son
gas station roofs and shit, right?
were like had an old like Cutlass sedan or something, and
So
they
gangster.
cut a hole in the trunk, and his name was like Leroy Malvoy or something like that. That might be a
Only a Leroy.
character.
This is the movie.
But yeah, what was his name? The
John
Allen
Allen
Muhammad
Muhammad.
and Lee,
Lee
Boyd,
Boyd Malvo.
Malvo.
Did they throw the Muhammad in there after?
So he was like
he's born
an
with it.
expert marksman in the military. He teaches the kid how to shoot, practicing shooting with a
trunk.
stump
remember
or
that.
something. And then they go up to DC and just start murking people randomly with no clear
Yeah,
reason.
Grand Theft
And
Auto thing.
taunting the police and things like that. It was truly pretty terrifying.
Well, then, no. I didn't see any plea. It was super chill, comparatively. When we
Nothing like that.
Not a single
The
sniper.
same summer, this staffer
No.
murdered walking to her apartment in Georgetown.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
And
The
Not
most
a single
exciting stuff that happened
sniper.
when we were there was, I think the Jefferson Memorial was under construction.
nice.
Crazy.
I know.
Whoa.
Right? We couldn't even go there.
No snipers though.
Probably were snipers if I had to imagine around the
I mean,
monuments.
They're just not shooting.
They're just not like.
They're not.
Freelance.
They're not active.
Yeah.
Exactly. Not freelance snipers. They're long-term employees.
They don't have like an angle or an axe to grind, really.
Yeah. So I send. I call this bike company / dispensary, and they say, send us your address and your order, and we'll be there in an hour. 30 minutes later, I get the call. They're outside, And I walk downstairs and I go across the street, and he tells me how much it is, and he hands me the goodies that I got, and I handed him the cash, and he just rolled out. And I was like, I had got my card here. I'm trying, I'm a licensed medical marijuana patient, and he just drove
wasn't.
off. I was like, man, come on now. So, but no, they weren't very scrupulous when it came to the licenses and that bike service. I thought it was very interesting, though.
I have a friend that lives up there now who said that when he buys weed, it's like he's not buying weed. He's getting the gift of marijuana from someone, and he is donating to, like, their cause or something. There's some weird... It's some
They're a
weird,
nonprofit.
yeah, some weird crap they like have to say and do.
Well,
Which is, kind of what the medical thing is.
Let's see what they say on here about it.
Can't say bong in a head shop type thing.
So 2018, they started accepting patients from jurisdictions with functionally equivalent medical marijuana program. That's where they were hating on us.
Okay.
And they got a list, and you can get 4 ounces every 30 days, which
That's not terrible,
should
man.
be okay.
That's weak. You can get 8 ounces every day here from
All day,
multiple
every day.
stores.
That's just your flower, right?
I mean,
That's just
yeah.
the flower, yeah.
And that's just if you go by yourself.
Honestly, and we have no
Yeah.
regulatory agents. We don't even have the ability to to enforce any of those regulations.
I know we want to.
Well, I have
Some
a
other law and
We wanna
happen
be
to
enforcement
have a bunch
agents.
of more weed on you than if you plowed your car into a school bus or something, and they were like, "Oh, he had 14 pounds of weed in his car,"
And you're
like,
just sitting there with
then
your
it might
arms up.
become a thing. Yeah.
like when the police with the jaws of life pull your car open, and you just have like pallets of marijuana that you're like sprawled out on inside your car. You're like, what?
My bad.
I mean, weigh it. I'm
Yeah,
totally
I'm
allowed
well
to have
within
this.
3 ounces. My scale's broken.
There's a lot of dead space in the middle of these blocks. I'm telling you.
It's
So
just real airy.
we won't go into the full list of DC reciprocity because we don't hang out there too much, and we only have one state's license. So
Yeah.
we can see maybe they added Oklahoma.
I mean, I think it's like
Hey,
any
yo.
place where you can get an out of license. Like Hawaii sounds awesome. They will let anybody, just like us, like their reciprocity is if you have a valid license in another state, you can come get one here temporarily for like $100.
That makes sense. But they kind of standardized their driving tests and stuff more than they've standardized the prescription process. You're talking about for being able to drive in another state?
No, I'm talking about getting an out of state license in Hawaii
Oh,
for marijuana.
a pot license, not a driving license, yeah.
That'd be awesome.
The driver's license thing is kind of standardized across the.
You think they're just making like the tourist places like that now? I know Hawaii is one that
I mean,
DC recognizes. They must have a stand-up
Hawaii
process.
is probably to let their police just worry about meth and not arrest tourists for weed.
Yeah, they are a big hub
It's
for the
definitely
meth
gonna
precursors
be-
from China.
I mean, dude, meth is a huge problem in Hawaii.
But
I mean, at least that's what my my research of watching Dog the Bounty Hunter tells me.
well, the biggest importer of meth precursors into the U.S. or Mexico is China, and it goes through the Pacific,
Yeah, well, that makes sense.
which means,
China is our biggest methamphetamine importer? I had no
meth
idea.
Precursor, like they import and they manufacture it in Mexico usually.
Like the Blue Barrel stuff they needed in Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
Oh, that they took off the train. Okay, yeah, the methyl halide or
I
whatever.
forget the guy's name. It's like
yeah.
Zhangchi something. Let's see.
It's been
Walter-
what
Wal-
they really need is
Walter White.
pseudoephedra,
Yeah.
right? And China has the largest pseudo labs in the world. We could effectively get rid of meth by getting rid of over-the-counter cold medicine with pseudoephedrine in it, but it like works, So
Yeah, it
and
turns
they
out
make
that's
so
really
much
good
money
for
off of it. Like the
cold and
pharmaceutical
flu.
industry, like it's a huge chunk of their yearly profits. It's like stuff to cure the common cold. All the stuff that they use or treat the common cold, stuff they use to treat it is based in this. We got rid of Quaaludes by shutting down the 3 or 4 factories in the world, mostly in India.
Which
that
pisses
made
me
the
off. I never got to
precursor
try them.
to make Quaaludes. I'm right there with you, brother. But they were a
Like-
huge problem. And
Massive.
we could do the same thing by shutting down the 7 or 8 factories, mostly in China, that make the precursor for meth. But their corporate greed gets in the way. Like Carter was saying, It'd be nice if they actually acted altruistically. But
I know.
It's like they're in it for money or something.
For some reason they don't, and it's not
That's weird.
Here's
It's like they have shareholders and profits to make.
can't really see it, but
Quarterly earnings to hit.
I wish I could make that bigger. But those are kind of the major
Meth pathways of the world?
trafficking routes. Not meth, opiates, cocaine, opium, coca. But
Yeah,
this
right now it's all
highway
coming
right
from
here.
Afghanistan. Anytime we get into a war where they make heroin, opioid stuff here just skyrockets.
Yeah. Can't get that hookup anymore.
Well, no, I think it's because and this has been proven, the CIA uses drug sales to pad their books so they can, have money to do black ops and things.
Okay. We'll have to look in.
Gotta
We'll
keep a
look
good
into that
balance
more.
sheet.
But
Well,
I mean,
they did it in the 70s and 80s with cocaine.
I'm not against it being
Yeah.
legit. I'm just saying I definitely want to pull that up and get into it.
Yeah.
There's a show called Snowfall on right now that explains it.
Gets
pretty
into it a
well.
little bit.
Yeah.
Told y'all I still haven't caught up.
There's a pretty good one on Netflix. I haven't finished, but it's about the assassination of Kiki Moreno. He was like a DEA agent, and he was tortured, interrogated, and subsequently murdered by the cartel. Chapo was one of the guys that helped murder him. And one of the interrogators was this guy named Felix. Forget his last name, but he was the guy that helped hunt down and kill Che Guevara, and he worked for the CIA, very close to George H.W.
I could see that. He was the one they brought in on multiple occasions as kind of being the enforcer that was familiar with how Mexicans
He was a Cuban
operate.
exile whose whose rich family was chased out of Cuba by Castro, and he kind of took it personally and hated commies.
This is the name I was trying to think of earlier. Zinli Yigong. He was the amphetamine supplier for the Sinaloa cartel.
Oh, nice! They got him.
Yeah, I think it was
Cool.
quite a ways back when they got him, but
I'm sure someone else has
stepped in
spot.
for sure. But that was the main line connect for a long time. So the last thing we'll kind of talk about on here is the first thing we talked about on here, which is Love After Lockup. Everyone's favorite. Jess is new to the programming. We're gonna induct him and get him familiar.
I'm with the audience here, yeah. So I got the questions you guys have.
These are
Ask
some
the
of
experts.
these are some of the familiars.
I
These
am not an expert yet. But
these are our favorites. These are the players.
jail really does not do too much for your complexion. Like, these people come out with terrible skin.
Right? I know one of the
splotchy.
young ladies, Crystal, had told her significant other that she'd put on a little weight in prison. And he's not a nice guy. But whenever she gets out, he's like,
Prison's effectively...
she's like, I said I put on a little weight. And he was like, I know, but you said you put on a little weight. Come on.
Prison is effectively a food desert. Like, the stuff you have ready access to are like honey buns and Cheetos and stuff. And so, like, it's like gas station food. And they probably experience similar problems as people in food deserts outside of prison experience. They're getting most of their nutrients from stuff they buy at the corner store. And that causes, diabetes, hypertension, obesity.
That's the problem. They give you nutritional slop that if you were only consuming the food that was provided to you,
level
there's no way you're
ration.
gaining weight in prison.
No.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
These people are putting in effort. They're they're trading cigarettes for snacks and stuff.
Yeah.
They're prioritizing
Offering
gaining weight.
Doing some protection racket. This big girl doing a protection racket to get more honey buns.
Right? She
which
seemed
is
like
only just like making her bigger.
yeah, right. It's a cycle. It's a dangerous cycle. She mentioned. So the first thing they do is they go meet up with her mom and her sister to go sit down. Crystal here, and her
She looks like the name Crystal fits.
yeah, Crystal lifestyle, Crystal name.
Good Lord.
Yeah, she spells it with a C,
That
just
is
like
a
the drug
bold
too.
neck tattoo as well.
Yeah,
not
she's
like-
got a lot of stuff.
It is script. Like, it is like a phrase.
It's a name. I'm pretty sure she went over. So she hasn't told Sean her pen pal, lover,
Oh, that she's got some
Life
white man's
mate?
name tattooed on her neck?
not a man. So she's had many female lovers in prison
Oh.
and has no plans on telling Sean about any of this.
Okay, cool.
And Sean
Because she told the show.
she on multiple occasions goes, "Don't tell him."
It's like you're being filmed.
Yeah,
I'm assuming you guys are
We
going to watch your
won't.
premiere episode.
we won't tell him. I mean, everyone's gonna.
You
know.
just did, though.
Yeah, on camera.
Yeah.
So they go there. Her first instinct is to get hammered drunk.
Really?
Just starts pounding booze.
I think that's probably a common occurrence.
Well, he tries to ask her about it, and she goes, "I had this girl inside that used to. She made this real good, like punch.
Prison hooch.
Yeah, toilet punch,
They
toilet bowl
call-
punch.
It's called Pruno.
Yeah.
That's the technical term for prison wine.
Yep. Because they can get fruit, and they can have a toilet,
Sugar.
and they can have sugar,
Yeah.
and that's what you need. They make a little toilet
A
still,
little bit of yeast, maybe.
a little bit of those. We don't know where they're getting the yeast. I'm not going to speculate, but
They grow it out back.
they make it work.
All
the
natural.
ladies manage to find it somehow.
It takes a while, I would imagine. It
I'm
takes
sure.
me the better part of a month to brew beer and then be able to drink it.
She had a pretty good process set up, though. It sounded like she had a steady supply. She said, "I found a girl that had a steady supply for me," and that's when I'm thinking she put on the pounds. Like she's got that sugar weight on her.
Yeah.
Where you've been drinking.
So she's just been prison schnockered every day.
Yep. Like homemade peach schnapps in the toilet all day, every day.
Oof. I mean, it'd be a rough life to get through that.
So she's probably the
I'd
cutest
probably drink too.
of the ladies coming out. She's probably the prettiest.
Jessica?
No.
Crystal.
Crystal.
If that's the case.
You haven't seen Jessica. Jessica's got kind of
I haven't seen either of these episodes.
Gerard Depardieu look going. She looks like she could be Gerard Depardieu's
Just a
daughter.
very large Frenchman.
Yeah, she's built like a brick shit house. She's bigger than her shoulders broad. Crystal's pretty stout too. She tells Sean on multiple occasions she gonna bust him upside the head. I'm gonna punch you in the face. That type of
You
stuff.
know, the kind of stuff that got her into prison.
Yeah. No, she's in there for fraud and stealing
like
and
Writing
lying.
bad checks.
Yeah. So that's kind of a little introduction to Crystal. Oh yeah. She also, I don't even know how to say it. She had the tattoos are something she brings up and talks about, and
Were they done inside?
yeah.
Okay.
So like every time she found a girlfriend, she would tat it on her and then try to cover it up
Oh god.
like 3 times.
Dude, they do not. There's no way you're gonna get like a stick and poke cover up.
No, it's not good. You can totally see them.
Like,
She's got
There's
like
just multiple names with lines
Cover-up
through it.
artists
just
are
like a
like
barbed wire.
the best tattoo artists, and sometimes even they can't like cover up something that's just in like black ink.
Yep. Just gonna give you a
scrawled
black
across your
sleeve.
neck.
I'm just gonna give you a face sleeve.
Not to disparage, but I mean, I think the face tattoo and
Face
neck
sleeve.
tattoo are the last dangerous tattoos. Like, remember, like when we were kids, everybody with a tattoo was like, "Ooh, that's dangerous. He must be a pirate or a sailor
I know.
or a
Or
biker."
barbed wire around your arm.
Yeah,
Right.
and then now it's like my kindergarten teacher of a wife has like, she's tatted up, dude.
Yeah.
She got
I mean,
69 on her neck.
Yeah,
to really mess with someone, you gotta.
She's not. The unemployment line used to be like below the
Nipple.
elbow. You know, like don't get them below the elbow where you can still go to work. And now people are just like, yeah, I know a girl that got like her dead bird tattooed on her neck.
Oh man.
Wow.
Yeah, it is
So
bold,
many
bro.
things wrong.
Bold.
And I mean, it had to have been a tragedy. Don't those birds usually live way longer than the humans?
Oh yeah, I'm not saying she murdered the bird, but I'm not. She probably just wasn't a diligent.
It says
bird owner.
remember. It
Yeah.
says think twice before you step to
Yeah,
me on
yeah.
her neck
Don't,
right underneath the
don't
bird.
buy a pet that lives longer than you.
Yeah,
for sure.
right. You have to handle it in your estate planning. You're like,
Yeah.
and the bird will be taken care
I
of
want
by
a
my children.
tortoise, like very badly, but I don't have anyone to will it to. So,
You leave it to the state.
dude, if I have a baby, first thing I'm doing is buying also a tortoise.
I think you should set up an estate, like a trust, to help, like, take care of the turtle or bird's needs.
I'm one of
but
those
don't
crazy
take care
people.
of the custody, like
Like
the
how Ernest
who's on
Hemingway
a.
left all his money to his cats.
Yeah, but I'm sure he set up someone to take care of them and
Yes, they live in
administer
his
the
house in
trust
Key West.
estate. But I think it'd be even more entertaining if you just hook it up with all that money and then send it into the system and have it just be like the bougiest turtle or bird.
He's
and
got
like
like a driver.
and he has to stay at the shelter still. Because where would they take him? It's not like they go to the orphanage.
No,
like the other
there
kids.
are actually like, you know how there are like rescue organizations for dogs? Like,
Yeah.
things exist like that for like parrots and for tortoises.
So we're gonna get our parrot with like a blinged out
So I could like potentially,
cell.
yeah, I could like adopt someone else's tortoise that like lived through the Dust Bowl.
Right? And
Probably
it could
not
tell
here,
some stories.
You know, like,
Oh, no, tortoise, not the parrot.
yeah.
Okay, it couldn't tell any stories.
Well, the parrot can tell.
It could
many
tell mad stories,
yeah.
right?
Just tell the same story over and over.
Yeah, it could. That could get annoying.
I don't want a bird.
Why do you think he died? He killed himself. It's like this fucking bird won't
They're
shut
very
up about
loud.
the depression. I
Very
know it was
loud.
sad, but god damn.
They were very loud.
So another guy. I mean, we'll mention a couple other things just to get people into the series. This guy over here on the right that you're kind of seeing, he's got some lip action that is just next level.
It looks like he got stung by a bee.
Yeah, he looks like he got stung by a colony of bees on his top lip, or he ate some hoo-ha that may have had something going on, and he caught it all up on his top lip.
Oh, yeah, back to the syphilis.
I mean, I think he's got a little hurt maybe that is just like super
he's
inflamed.
stressed out from filming, and the stress has made him have a what do they call it, a flare up?
Yep.
Oh yeah,
All that talking, all that stress about your girl getting out of prison, and
dude, I'd hate to see what this fella's junk looks like.
oh my god, yeah, right. She's gonna get to find out.
Unfortunately,
She's one who's clearly
this
like
episode is
30
called
years
Liar,
younger than him,
Liar, season 3, episode 4.
and it's not talking about him.
Yeah.
You'd think the guy in the leather jacket would be the one they're referring to as liar, liar.
Oh, so she's just a prolific, like. So here's what I'm imagining.
Yeah,
I
paint a
haven't
picture.
seen this episode.
Okay.
But I'm gonna paint the picture
Yeah.
of what.
Okay.
How I
I'll
think
close
it
my
is.
eyes. Let's think.
She is stringing along 6 or 7 other men like him. He thinks he's the only one. He goes to pick her up.
Do they all think they're the only one?
And finds out that there's like 7 other dudes that are also courting this psycho. Is that how it goes?
Yeah, I mean, I think she plays it so sweet that they would never consider her a psycho. But I think she's definitely got a little stable of
Yeah.
sugar daddies that she works with. They all think that
They have nothing but
they're the
time on their
one.
hands.
To answer your question, Jess, yes, they all think they're the one.
They have nothing
Okay,
but
yeah.
time on their hands, and they want money on their books.
Yeah,
Like, this
right.
makes sense.
I mean, she's got a portfolio. She has to keep her assets operating, in the black.
Yeah.
And if you get them all emotionally involved in each other and concerned about whether you're the one,
Yeah.
those checks aren't going to flow.
No, not at all.
No. And she's gotten, $20,000-$30,000 out of these people.
Are you serious?
Some of
Each?
the individuals, yes.
Oh my gosh.
She's good. She's like 30 years younger than him. The angle he took, which is strategically
Do
smart.
you know how far $30,000 would go in prison?
I mean, I don't think she's holding it probably in prison. She's probably
Oh yeah, I got it.
her mom or somebody. But the angle he took on this is, maybe smart strategically, kind of a little disturbing, emotionally. He has established a relationship with the girl's daughter and regularly goes and visits, has her over. He's trying to set up the house and have interior
Jesus.
decorators come in to set it up for his new girlfriend and her daughter and
Red
stuff.
flag.
And he totally leverages like the mom wanting to talk to the daughter and stuff.
Oh,
Like
God.
by putting himself in there close, he knows that
Yeah, he's like, ooh.
he
Useful.
knows that
That's
he's
slimy.
useful.
Dude, it's awesome. Everyone from like the producers to the people being documented are just exploiting each other, or think they're exploiting other people. Right?
I'd like to see
It's
the
pretty
contracts.
amazing. They all
that-
think they've got an angle, and they're playing it well, and no one's the wiser.
Yeah.
But it's all so transparent and awful. It makes wonderful television.
They're so concerned with like the other people on screen,
Yeah.
like what they're doing and how the game that they're working on them, that they don't even pay attention to the fact that the show is just screwing everybody over and making fun of all of them. I just want to see their contracts. Like any of these reality stars contracts with the network. I
Oh,
would love to
please.
read through.
Please, I'm gonna.
I want to figure out a way to get one.
That's gonna be my Google deep dive.
That'll
for
be our
the
project for
evening
next
when I get
time.
home. I will. That's our homework. Let's
Sean's
pull up
Spot Talk Google Deep Dive.
Yeah.
a sample contract for one of these reality shows.
Any reality
Actually,
show will work.
I know somebody who works in reality shows. He does he's worked on everything from like Ice Road Truckers to Live PD. I can see if you can.
Those ones I could see, they have probably a little better contracts than these people because the liability is so high on the stuff they're
They
doing.
do like shipping wars and storage.
That type of
wars.
stuff, like Bering Sea Gold and stuff. I could see those being ones where you got a legit contract because people die and get seriously
like,
injured all the time.
Horrifyingly.
But these people, it's like, hey, what are we even paying you for? You know, we just dropped a camera in while you were getting out of prison, and you're talking to your spouse and stuff. I feel like they'd have a really easy argument to say that they don't need to pay them anything, and I want to see what the contract looks like.
Yeah.
But
Well, Carter the lawyer, we will we'll do a little Carter free lawyering on the next episode for anyone that's looking to get on Love After Lockup. He can tell you whether or not this contract is something you'd want to put your name on.
yeah, if you were questioning whether you should be involved in love after lockup, you know, I might be able to
should.
get you to make a decision on one side or the other.
Yeah,
after
we
going
might be
through
able to
this
talk
contract.
you out of your weird prison pen pal thing. Don't do that. Like,
If you're sitting in prison right now with just letters pouring in, trying to make the decision as to whether you should get involved in this or not, wait for next week and we'll have an episode that really
like
tells you your position.
mail order Tinder, except for you know that like you're getting conned in some way, shape, or form.
Just because you're getting a con, or
Yeah. Oh,
Like
yeah.
convict.
yeah,
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's what they call fucking a convict, is getting conned.
getting conned.
And then sometimes they're actually confidence men. Or women.
Well, with that, I think we're going to end it, and next week we'll get into this. But thank you guys for joining us,
Our pleasure. That was fun, man.
and we'll talk to you next time.
Boom.